Okay, so I have to tell you about something absolutely crazy that happened to me last night that's going to blow your mind and completely change how you think about what the New York Knicks are capable of accomplishing this season and what moves they might be planning behind the scenes. I was sitting on my couch around 10 p.m., just casually flipping through channels trying to find something good to watch after a long, exhausting day at work. Had my phone next to me on the coffee table, wasn't really paying much attention to anything in particular, when suddenly I started getting these rapid-fire text messages from like 5 different friends, all asking me if I was watching SportsCenter right now and telling me I needed to turn it on immediately because they were discussing something absolutely huge about the Knicks that I wouldn't believe. And hey, real quick before we dive into all this insane breaking news, if you're enjoying this breakdown and want to stay updated on all the latest Knicks developments, smash that like button right now because it genuinely helps us continue bringing you this content every single day. So obviously, I immediately grabbed my remote and switched over to ESPN as fast as I possibly could. And when the broadcast came on my screen, the entire SportsCenter panel was in the absolute middle of this incredibly intense and passionate discussion about the New York Knicks and some developing trade scenarios that could genuinely transform this roster from playoff contender to legitimate championship favorite overnight. The energy radiating from that studio was absolutely electric and contagious, because you could tell from how animated the analysts were getting, from their hand gestures and raised voices, and the way they were leaning forward in their seats with such intensity that they genuinely understood they were discussing something potentially franchise-altering that could define the Knicks' championship window for the next several years and reshape the Eastern Conference landscape. But before we dive deep into the absolutely explosive Brandon Ingram trade speculation that has the entire basketball world buzzing with excitement and anticipation, the SportsCenter crew wanted to comprehensively break down and analyze what was genuinely one of the wildest and most thrilling games of the entire NBA season so far that had fans on the edge of their seat. The New York Knicks traveled to Dallas and escaped with an absolutely heart-stopping 113-111 victory over the Mavericks to finally secure their first road win of the season after several disappointing losses away from Madison Square Garden. And let me tell you, this game was absolutely not for the faint of heart whatsoever and had everyone's blood pressure through the roof. The panel showed this incredible dramatic sequence from the final moment where Landry Shamet, with just 4 seconds remaining, hit his first three-pointer of the entire game to put the Knicks up by 1 point in an absolutely pressure-packed moment where the season felt like it was hanging in the balance. Then, with the game still hanging in the balance and both teams trading possessions, Shamet struck again, knocking down another absolutely clutch three-pointer to extend the lead to 3 points, with precious seconds ticking away and Dallas desperately trying to mount a comeback. The final sequence was absolutely wild and controversial. With just 3.8 seconds remaining, Dallas guard Brandon Williams drove hard to the basket with a full head of steam and was called for an offensive foul on Shamet. And if that whistle had gone the other way, Williams potentially goes to the free throw line with a golden opportunity to win the game for Dallas and send the Knicks home with another devastating road loss. The analysts emphasized this wasn't pretty basketball by any stretch of the imagination, but it represented exactly the kind of gritty, grinding road victory that championship-caliber teams absolutely must find ways to win during the long, grueling regular season when shots aren't falling and nothing comes easy. The Knicks shot an absolutely abysmal percentage from three-point range for most of the game and incredibly missed 16 free throws, including missing 5 of their last 6 attempts in the crucial final seconds when free throws should be automatic. And yet somehow, through sheer determination and clutch play, they were still able to escape Dallas with a victory. The crew kept stressing that wasn't pretty at all, and there were legitimate concerns about execution. But it's a road win, and you absolutely take it every single time, because winning on the road in the NBA is incredibly difficult, especially when you're not playing your best basketball. The Knicks did go 5 for 12 from three-point range in the fourth quarter, after really struggling mightily and going an absolutely terrible 0 for 10 from deep in the second quarter. They couldn't buy a bucket, so they showed tremendous resilience and mental toughness to keep fighting and believing they could win even when shots weren't falling. The three-point shooting and three-point defense were major persistent issues for the Knicks throughout this entire game on both ends of the floor, but you were just waiting to see if someone could get hot and take over, and Deuce McBride, then Landry Shamet late in the game, got absolutely scorching hot from three and knocked down massive shots when the team needed them most in crunch time. But the bigger story and more important storyline beyond just the victory was the triumphant return of star point guard Jalen Brunson to the starting lineup after missing time with an ankle injury that had everyone concerned about the severity. Brunson gave the Knicks an absolutely phenomenal 28-point performance in his first start in a week since suffering that ankle injury, so that's genuinely great news that he's back healthy and doing all the things you expect from an all-star caliber point guard who controls the game. The panel showed how Brunson scored 27 of those 28 points in just the first three quarters, before not making a field goal in the fourth, which shows how absolutely dominant he was early in the game, getting to his spots and making plays. But now, let's transition to the absolutely explosive Brandon Ingram trade speculation that could provide the Knicks with the elite scoring wing they desperately need to compete with the best teams in the league. Currently, there are substantive discussions happening around the league about the possible departure of Brandon Ingram from the New Orleans Pelicans, and the primary motivation driving these trade rumors is the complete lack of progress on a contract extension agreement between Ingram and the Pelicans front office, despite months of negotiations. Brandon Ingram is entering a contract situation where New Orleans faces a critical organizational decision: either extend him now to a massive long-term deal worth potentially $200 million or more, or risk losing him as an unrestricted free agent without receiving any assets in return, which would be organizational malpractice of the highest order. The Pelicans may not want to take that substantial risk of losing Brandon Ingram for absolutely nothing in free agency, so trading him now while his value remains high and they can get significant assets back makes strategic sense from a roster management perspective. Additionally, the New Orleans organization may be seeking players who fit better schematically alongside franchise cornerstone Zion Williamson, and who can bring more consistency and reliability to the roster on both ends of the floor. Brandon Ingram is an incredibly talented scorer and playmaker with elite offensive skill, but questions about his fit alongside Zion and whether they can coexist successfully have persisted throughout their time together in New Orleans. For the New York Knicks specifically, acquiring Brandon Ingram would provide exactly what this team desperately needs to take the next step: an elite scoring wing who can create his own shot in isolation situations, a secondary playmaker who takes tremendous pressure off Jalen Brunson, and a versatile defender with length who can guard multiple positions at a high level. Brandon Ingram, at 6'8", with his smooth shooting stroke and ability to score efficiently from all three levels, would be absolutely perfect alongside Brunson in the backcourt, and would give the Knicks a legitimate second star. The Sports Center panel kept emphasizing that Ingram's shot creation ability and scoring versatility would completely transform the Knicks' offensive capabilities and make them significantly more dangerous in playoff situations when defenses tighten up and half-court execution becomes paramount. The crew broke down how Brandon Ingram averaged over 24 points per game last season, with efficient shooting percentages, and how his length would be a massive asset defensively. They discussed potential trade packages that could work financially and how the Knicks have assets that would interest New Orleans. The analysts also emphasized that adding a player of Ingram's caliber would immediately vault the Knicks into that top tier of Eastern Conference contenders alongside Boston and Milwaukee. So that was the comprehensive Sports Center breakdown of the Knicks' thrilling Dallas victory, plus the Brandon Ingram trade speculation that could reshape their championship.